out in the other than TikTok and Instagram world that we've already said hello to. But good morning. It is FriYay. We are doing what we do every Monday to Friday, which is answer your traffic and police questions here on social media. We are currently broadcasting on YouTube, Twitch, LinkedIn, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram Live. We're everywhere that you are. And that's how you're watching us. So, yes, first things first, Vision Zero Enforcement Team, where are they today? They are in 22 and 43 divisions. If you don't know where those divisions are, check out the Toronto Police website. It has detailed maps as to what those divisions are. If you're in that division, it's good to know that the police are there. Now, this is not the only police. It doesn't mean that the only enforcement that's taking place in the city are in those two divisions. It means that our team of Vision Zero enforcement officers are focusing their efforts looking for offenses in the big four. That's speeding, aggressive driving, distracted driving, and impaired driving. And they're doing this to augment or assist the already good work being done in those divisions. It is based on intelligence. It's based on information calculated to determine where the effort or the coverage is needed because they're having serious injuries or serious collisions causing injury and death. We don't want that. We obviously want to make the streets safer, and that's what they do every single day. If you don't know who I am, my name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a police constable with the Toronto Police Service here in Ontario, Canada, and I go live on social media answering your traffic and police questions. I also like to put out a whole bunch of videos on a regular basis, things intended to inform, to educate, to make your lives better. We want you to know before you go. You can know things so you don't get charged for doing the wrong thing. Because if we can save you money, that's a great thing. If we can make the road safer, that's a fantastic thing. And that's what we do. It's part of what our job is. It's indeed. So I have a little spiel. Well, this has all been a little spiel. But if you have questions and you're on Instagram Live or you're on TikTok, please use the Q&A function. The Q&A function as that little bubble with the question mark in it. It ensures that I get to see the question. If you just put it in chat, I won't see it. But I still want to see it, so use the appropriate feature. Sean Chen comes in on YouTube. So if you're coming in on YouTube or any of the other platforms other than those of TikTok and Instagram, just throw a comment into the live that you're watching, and I'll see it directly. What else can I tell you? Erin is here, and Erin's going to join us towards the end of the show. She's going to go live. Erin's from TPS Parking TPS. I always confuse which order of operations that new username is. But she's TPS Bike Heart on all platforms, and she wants to give us a little spiel about the new channel and her new partner and the new way of doing things for parking enforcement. So we'll talk to her soon. We can't wait. Looking forward to it. Now, we have questions coming in. Let's jump into things on TikTok as people jump into the live. Oh, you know what? While I'm reading and finding a question to respond to, do me a favor. If you're on Instagram and TikTok, please tap that screen. Tap away. You know, it shows the algorithm that you like what's going on. It helps promote the live. And even better, if you would share this directly with somebody, whether you invite them by email or just share it on the platform, we would really appreciate it. Helps us out. What's it called? An endorsement by you means a lot to us. Okay. I don't know what you're talking about, Q. We have multiple things going on here, but I'm not aware of that. Let's see. Oh, is it illegal to drive underage if it's an emergency? Yes. If you don't have a license, you cannot operate a motor vehicle. You're not covered by insurance, and emergency isn't an excuse. If it's an emergency, call the police, call fire, call an ambulance. Those are the people trained and licensed to drive, and they can do so and get to you quickly and help you. If you are an unlicensed driver, despite the fact that you may believe that you are good at what you can do because you've done it in a parking lot once, doesn't mean that you are. And the likelihood of you not getting where you're planning on going safely is very high. We call something in police training called guaranteed arrival. We want to make sure that you are getting, even as a police officer or emergency services person, that you are going to drive safely and responsibly to ensure that you get where you're going. Because if we're racing to a call, if we're coming to help someone and we don't do that safety thing, drive within our abilities and the road conditions, we won't get there to help somebody, and then we'll just become additional casualties on the way and tying up additional resources. And it's a bad scene. So no, you cannot drive, even if it's an emergency, without a license. And even if you have a license, if it's something where you are injured or someone you care about is injured and you want to transport them to hospital, you are likely better to call the ambulance because, again, doing things at high speed and high stress, even if you're licensed, could be the wrong thing. Let's see here. Question coming in from Jake here says, you said you were going to be redoing your set. How's that coming? We are discussing sound treatment for the area because it's a sibilant, very bright space. So it's something we're trying to deal with, because I don't want to put you in a room and then everything sounds like an echo. It would be bad. Let's see here. Lots of questions about protests and trucks and things like that. Just so you know, I don't go political. We talk about traffic and policing, but when it gets to be political, I don't get involved. Not my area of expertise. I'm not involved with that protest or anything related to it. So I don't want to. I want to stay in my lane. Okay. Why are officers allowed to do live feeds on duty? Because officers who are trained and are paid to educate on all platforms. Live feeds are an education opportunity to give the public access to me, to knowledge, to information. So we used to do this stuff in public all the time, and we used to go to boat shows and trade shows, and we'd have a booth, and we'd wait till someone came up to talk to us, and we'd talk to them one-on-one about bicycle safety or car safety or how to get a license or whatever the case may be. We'd answer their police and traffic questions. Well, now we're doing it to thousands of people. Right now we have 610 people on TikTok. We have a dozen people on Instagram Live. We have people coming in through all other platforms. Like Twitch and YouTube and LinkedIn. And these things, these videos don't only go out now live, but they're replayed and repeated. So it is a fantastic opportunity for us to communicate with the public and educate, and that's exactly what we're all about. We want to make roads safer for everybody. We want to prevent you from getting a ticket by educating you in case you didn't know what you were doing was wrong when it comes to minor or even major issues. We did a video about modifications in cars today. That's trying to save you money and trying to avoid getting you into a situation. So why are officers allowed to do live feeds on duty? Because this is part of what we do. We educate. In fact, it's a huge component of traffic safety. So I appreciate the question, and I really like the question because it gives me an opportunity to talk about what we do here. So if you have more questions, ask away. Let's get into here. How do you feel about the Calgary Police? I feel like they're the police in Calgary. I don't actually have any positive or negative things to say about them because I don't have any experience on a professional level with them. All I know is we all wear the same uniform, maybe different patches and different sizes, but we all are here for the same reason, which is to keep people safe. Having a look at people coming in from other platforms. LinkedIn, an unknown user says, "Hey Sean, thank you for being a motivator and your positive attitude on safety is inspirational towards my goal. Stay safe." Thank you very much. Thanks for commenting. Les, great job, buddy, was the comment. Alan, good morning, and he says, good morning to myself and moderators. Happy Friday. Alex coming in on Twitch with good morning, and what is this? Some of these questions seem low-key throwing shade. We get all sorts of questions, and it's reasonable. A lot of people aren't used to seeing a police officer online, chatting to them on TikTok, and that's cool. We're here to answer questions of all kinds. And we had a whole bunch of people jump in. We're over 1.3 thousand folks on TikTok right now. And for those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a police constable with the Toronto Police Service here in Ontario, Canada, and I am on TikTok and other social medias answering your questions live, but we put content up everywhere all the time. Just so you know, we have moderators in the chat rooms. They are not police officers. They're not paid. They're just volunteers. They're people like you who care about what we're talking about, who decided to get involved and help us out, make it sure it's a safe environment. So if you have questions and you ask them in the chat, it's going to be a moderator who's answering. If you want me to see it, make sure you have it flagged as a Q&A. That's that question mark in the bubble. Okay. My wife is in the chat. Hello. Good morning to everyone. Happy Friday. The whole fam jam is watching. Oh, my kid's a PA day. Hi, guys. How you doing? Miss you. Can't wait to see you. The after work, running home to see my kids. It's always the best part of my day. Gray Calf coming in from Twitch says, the quality is so much better here. You know what? I don't know, what platform were you coming from, Gray? Where were you originally? Because I'm curious, it's better than what? I want to know. These are things. We just had a survey. We had a survey. There's one cue card gone. We had a survey that is complete. And we're still taking survey entries if you want to make them. And the folks who are seeing this.
I'm more reliable than your cue card.
Well, yeah, I have a survey card here. It says, remind me to, you're definitely more reliable than the cue card because the cue card still relies on me looking at the cue card. But yes, moving along. The survey is complete in terms of the area that we were originally measuring. And thank you to everybody who submitted a response. Really appreciate it. We got some fantastic feedback. We got to know that a lot of you are following us and which platforms you're following us on and what you like about the show. You can still give us feedback using it. And the survey is, you can find it on our Twitter history. You can see it on the on YouTube on screen. It's a QR code. You can scan it and take you to a SurveyMonkey page. It's still open. But yeah, just awesome. Thank you again. We really appreciate it. And we want to continuously make this better for you. That is the whole reason we're here, is to help you, answering your questions and doing your thing. What is this? If the driver doesn't match RO description, does that give grounds to stop a vehicle? Okay, so this is a question about vehicle stops. The answer is that we can stop a motor vehicle to ensure that the driver is licensed, to ensure that a driver, or that there's insurance on the vehicle, and to ensure that the driver is not impaired, to check their sobriety. We can do that for those reasons alone. So if the driver doesn't match the registered owner's description, that's way further down the line. We're not generally looking up the registered owner while we're just driving around. But it's a good question. So we can, let's see here. It seems that Toronto Police is retiring all of their Crown Vics. What's your opinion on this as an officer? Well, our vehicles only last a certain amount of time. They have a lifespan. We also drive a lot. They're just 24 hours running. You hand back your car, some other officer gets in. They're basically running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So the fact is they get retired because they get retired, and they're not making any more of them, so we have no choice but to retire them. Obviously, I missed that vehicle. It was my favorite vehicle. It's what I've, it's in my mind what a police car is. But I do appreciate that that there are other vehicles that are capable of doing the job. As a big guy like me, I'm 6'5". I hate the new vehicles because I don't fit in them. My knee is pushed up against the center console. It's just not fun. So it's not comfortable for me, but for everybody else who's shorter than me, I'm sure they have no issues. And they're four-wheel drive or all-wheel drive now, so there are benefits to it. We got here. Oh, interesting. So Gray was saying that TikTok was lagging a lot for some reason, but Twitch is smooth. Yeah, Twitch is smooth because it's coming through fiber. It's coming through a big pipe of data, whereas the TikTok is coming through a cellular connection, which is really annoying because unfortunately our security protocols won't allow us to use TikTok on an internal network. So I'm looking at options to fix that on the long term. However, Instagram should have a great feed because it's using Wi-Fi and part of that big pipe. Okay. Do stop signs apply in private parking lots in malls? So they're not enforceable as stop signs. I can't write you a stop sign ticket, despite the fact that you run one, you have incredible risk of a collision. And if you caused a collision, you're responsible for that collision. But I can't write you a ticket for running a stop sign. If it's a pattern of behavior, you could actually qualify for bigger and better things. It could be if you were running a circuit, driving around the parking lot at high speed or putting lives at danger. That's going to be dangerous driving. It's criminal. Could be stunt driving, which does apply on private property. But stop signs alone, just for not going through them, bad idea, high risk, but not something I can enforce. Let's see here. How's the diet going? I'm shrinking. It's good. The high speed weight loss is slowed down, but it is I'm still losing weight and shrinking. It's good. I feel better. Thanks for asking. For those of you who have no idea what that question or sidebar conversation was, I am also on TikTok as VoiceoverCop. I'm on all the other social media platforms as VoiceoverCop as well. If you want to follow me there, I am in the midst of a weight loss, a thing where I'm eating right. I've gone no carb, and I am shrinking before your eyes. For those who continuously come back and check on me to see what's going on. So yeah, love to have you follow me there. Say hello and tell me where you're coming in from. And by the way, where are you coming in from? For the folks who are watching right now, drop it in the chat. Where are you out of? Where are you watching from? We'd love to hear from you and know where you're at. Okay. Gonna sip on water. Q, what's going on? Any questions coming up in chat?
Can I get charged for drinking and driving for drinking non-alcoholic beer?
Okay.
I can hear the spigot.
You hear So drinking water, drinking non-alcoholic beverages, eating food that is not distracting you from driving. Is it an offense? Not specifically, but if it does negatively impact your ability to drive safely, then yes, you could be charged with careless driving. Doesn't matter what you're doing, putting on makeup, reading a book. These are things you are doing that is not, it's taking you away from the focus of driving. So is it dangerous? Could you be charged? Absolutely. Sue St. Marie, what's going on? King Cardin. at the end of the day, you have to make a good decision. So if you talk to our friend, the Safe Driver, he's a driving instructor. He teaches driving instructors to be driving instructors. He says, put a mint in your mouth. That's something minor like that, great, but don't eat. But is it illegal? No, unless it's negatively affecting your driving, and then other things come into play. Let's see here. Is it against the HTA for parking in an EV charger? So no, it's not HTA because it's private property where those things are mounted. However, you can be charged for parking in a space because if you park somewhere you're not supposed to, the property owner or the security representing the property owner can come by, call the police, and have you tagged or towed off the property. So it is not permitted if they say it's not permitted. It becomes a trespass to property situation or a park without consent situation, not a Highway Traffic Act offense, though. Let's see here. Can you pop wheelies on an ATV? I think prior to September 12th of 2021, sure you could. And that's part of off-roading, right? Having, you twist your wrist and things happen. But according to the Highway Traffic Act, which now applies on private property when it comes to stunt driving, any lifting of tires off the ground or off the road are going to be qualifying for stunt driving. Now, are we out there on trails looking for you? No, but you should know that if you're not on a racetrack where it's permitted, anywhere else that you do wheelie popping, whether it be on the road or private property, it is technically stunt driving. Okay, I got to remember not to press that button. That's a bad button. Okay. What is this? All ages allowed. All ages are allowed to listen to this, right? Absolutely. No one's too young or too old. This is a safe space in terms of no vulgarity. It's the police. We're going to be PG-13 or better. Yeah, everyone's allowed to listen to this. Okay. Let's see here. People asking about trucker stuff and protest stuff. Just to let you know, I'm not going political with any of my stuff. It's a police channel. That's not my area of expertise. I talk about traffic. I talk about general policing stuff, and that's what I do.
I have one here.
Okay.
We've never encountered it before.
Oh, a new one. I like new. New is good.
Is it an offense if a funeral hearse uses the HOV lane with a dead body? I've never heard this one before.
I think someone's asked me this before long ago. But yeah, I would have to assume that that a hearse has to have two living persons inside of it as a minimum. Now, I'm just going to guess that would be the way. Now, yeah, I'm going to go with that. I don't think it qualifies when one person is no longer that they are deceased. Yeah. I don't know for sure, but I'm going to guess that. That just seems right. I have to reread the law, and I would just, yeah. I'm moving on because that's where do these questions come from? Let's see here. Oh, this is a good one, and this is sort of political, but it is something that is relevant to driving, and I'll go with it, which is Ford able to be charged for distracted driving? And it's a good way that you phrased it. Is he able to be? So obviously, if someone who is driving, regardless of what their station is, they would be eligible for a ticket. However, the evidence that we have against Premier Ford is a video where he is driving a car or a vehicle. I don't know what kind of car it is. I understand he drives a truck. And he's on a video being interviewed on television. So CTV aired it while he was driving. Now, we assume he's driving because I don't know if it's reversed. He could be a passenger, but we assume he's driving. So let's assume that is correct. He's driving a car on the street, and that's against the law. Could we charge him? Well, we don't have enough information to charge him. Yeah, we know who he is. We know what time he was driving. But one of the important things that we need to be able to identify is his physical location. So we don't know where that is. We can't say that he was at a certain intersection at a certain time. Otherwise, it's conceivable that we could lay the charge based on the evidence provided. So I appreciate the question. And many people asked it right when it happened, and we've been saying the same thing ever since. Okay. How often are red light speed camera tickets sent? I have no idea. That's run by the City of Toronto, not us. And I imagine that they are sent whenever they are processed. So those speed cameras and red light cameras for sure are locally stored. It's not wireless. I don't know about the speed cameras. I assume that they're all locally stored, which means somebody would have to physically go and do a dump of all the information and then do it. Mind you, those are new technology. They may be wireless. I don't know. In any case, somebody has to verify all the information, swear to it, and then have it sent out. So it's not an entirely automated process, so I assume they do them in batches. Let's see here. The TMC should be ready to host the show. Oh, okay, yeah. I've got to. So Kayla sent me an email this morning, and thank you for that. I've got to get approval for it. So I sent it up to the chain, and we'll see what happens. See what they say. Linda says my sticker is due, but I cannot have a vaccine. How long can I go without getting my sticker? I don't go out. So the deal, Linda, is that you cannot. You've got till the end of this month to get it. The sticker, for anyone who doesn't know this, we had extensions in place for COVID. Anyone who had a license or validation sticker on their vehicle that expired March 1st, 2020 or later was given an extension, and that extension was for 2 years as it worked out, and it's coming to an end on February 28th of this year. It means that if you are driving your vehicle, you being able to legally drive it with an expired license and an expired tag, but that's no longer the case, and enforcement will begin. So for Linda, if you need to renew it online. They'll send it to you, and there's no issue with that. You can renew your driver's license and your validation sticker online. They'll mail it to you. That's the best way. In fact, I went to go do something at the ministry, and there was no lineup when I went there, and I asked why because I was shocked. I totally thought that this would be a lineup down the street because of the impending expiration of the program. They said everyone's doing it online. So there you go. That's the answer. Let's see here. Brogata says, is doing donuts in a snow-covered parking lot considered stunt driving? And the answer is yes. As of September 12, 2021, that is all enforceable on private property. So if you're doing it, especially on private property, which I was going to say it doesn't belong to you, it applies everywhere. But private lots are one of the reasons that this came into play is because people were taking them over and not only trespassing and doing something that was prohibited, but damaging the property and potentially getting into collisions and hitting things. Obviously, risking life is also an issue. In any case, private property, whether it belongs to you or not, is illegal to do donuts, drift, or other stunt things that qualify. Spencer Moore says, thanks. Okay. And Linda, I didn't know you didn't know, but now you know. So Linda was just thanking us for giving the information. They did not know that you could reapply or renew online. And good morning to Army Vet Gaming. What's going on? Okay. Let us see what's going on the list. I got a couple messages coming in from Instagram. We haven't looked over at this phone in a while. Let's see. Can a G2 driver drive after midnight with a driver with 4 years experience? So a G2 driver can drive anytime. The restriction is who you can have as a passenger. So it depends, and their ages. So I off the top of my tip of my tongue, I can't tell you what that is, or top of my head, whatever the case is. I don't remember what the restrictions are. I've actually never had to enforce the restrictions on a G2 driver. It just hasn't come into play. And, we're generally not just pulling people over going, are you a G2? It usually comes in play with other things, driver behavior and so on. Now, a G1 driver cannot drive after midnight or from the hours of midnight till 5 a.m., regardless of who's in the car with them. They just can't. Okay. What's the fine for a Sunstrip on a 2017 plus model? Okay, so this is related to tinting your vehicle. Vehicles manufactured 2017 or newer cannot have any tint on their windshield, period, whatsoever. It also messes, I think one of the reasons was it messes with some sensors. But what's the fine? It would be, I imagine, it's a good question. I don't know what the fine would be. It would be obstruct a windshield for driver. I don't know if that's going to be the appropriate fine. It's a good question. I'm assuming it's $110 and it would be related to that. I'd have to look it up. I've never laid the charge. For Sunstrips in general, I just know it's not considered under safety spec to be permitted on the vehicle. You can't get your vehicle safety on it. So it's not permitted, but I don't know what the charge is. But now I'm going to have to look it up. Thanks for going down that rabbit hole. No, that's awesome. Q, we've never had that question of what's the fine for Sunstrips. Cool. Let's
look
see.
it up.
If you want to go down that rabbit hole now, by all means. But I am going to move on to a different question in the meantime. If signs aren't posted, how far from a street corner can I park without getting a ticket? Save that question for 9:45 because we are going to be joined by our friend Erin Urquhart from Toronto Police Parking Enforcement. She's going to jump in. You can also follow her at TPS_Bikehart. You can also get information about parking at Parking TPS on all platforms. So I don't have the answer for that because I don't do parking stuff, but she does and is an authority on the subject. She'll be coming back at 9:45. Make sure you're here to get that answered. I have, what is this? Okay. I have youth drug trafficking charges. How long I in? I don't know the rest of your question, so I can't answer it. Oh, no. You got multiple. You want to know what the consequences are? I'm not sure what you're asking. Maybe you can rephrase it. And I probably don't have an answer for you because I don't have experience with youth drug trafficking charges, but maybe we can put you in touch with somebody who would. Okay. Tom says it seems like a waste of tax dollars. I assume this is a follow-up for why are we broadcasting on social media. But I don't know exactly what you're talking about because this is 3 minutes ago, but we don't know the context of your statement. If you think this is a waste of tax dollars, you probably shouldn't be watching it. But for the people who are watching and asking and getting valuable information to help them be safe and follow the law, this is very valuable. But I appreciate your input. You don't have to agree with it. That being said, the chief does agree with it and does support it, and this has been phenomenal. We are actually the largest largest account on TikTok in North America for educational programming, period. Now, I don't think anybody else in the world is doing what we do, so I would say the world, but I don't want to, jump on anybody else's stuff and say that we're doing something that nobody else is doing. I just don't think anybody else is doing it. So there are other police forces. They're getting involved. They are getting into the game of being here. So I expect to see far more of my friends from other police services doing what I do. But right now, it looks like it's just us. Okay. Can I drift on frozen lakes? I actually don't know anything about frozen lakes, nor would I want to put a motor vehicle on a frozen lake. I've never done it, so I can't comment on whether it's safe or not. I assume it's not safe. Hugh, have you ever gone lake drifting?
No, but I walked in a lake.
I stay away from lakes. I don't like the idea of falling through ice. But you know what? I want to talk to you about ice. Ice and snow and crappy conditions. When's the last time, for those who drive, when's the last time you checked your windshield wiper quality? Like, is it worn out? You're supposed to change these on a regular basis. Like, if you're changing, if you're going multiple seasons on the same wipers, they're probably not doing what they were designed to do originally. In fact, I try and change them at least once a season. I recently went to a local store that has a red, a red logo, and I went and bought, they were on clearance. I bought like 7 or 8, whatever they had left in my size, windshield wiper blades. So I always have a spare one because I am really finicky about being able to see clearly through my windshield. Just looking for the spots that are not, that are clear doesn't work for me. I want to be able to see clearly through my windshield, not just for safety, but because I'm OCD when it comes to being able to see through a clean window. Additionally, I just had the light go off today on the way to work that my windshield washer fluid is low. Something else I use constantly as I'm driving to make sure I can actually see through my windshield. Really important to be able to see, just saying. So if you haven't, this is just your friendly neighborhood reminder to check and change your windshield wiper blades. They do wear out on a regular basis, and top up your windshield washer fluid. Make sure you're using stuff that's for the right temperature because having frozen windshield washer fluid is bad. Okay, let us see what is going on here. Matt, okay. Oh, here. Okay, let me make sure I'm not jumping through things. We have Alex asking about restrictions for decals and wrapping. So decals, if you wrap a motor vehicle, there's a couple of things that you need to know. One, if you substantially change the motor vehicle from its description, like red, to now rainbow, you need to update the ministry because we need to know that it's a multicolored vehicle on the permit. If you turn it from red to green to blue, whatever the case may be, single color or multicolor, you need to notify, and you have 6 days to do it. If you've made the change within 6 days, you're good. If you are longer, you're eligible for a ticket for failing to notify. Now, in terms of what can you wrap? Well, you can wrap the whole vehicle. You can't put any wrap, obviously, on the windshield. People say, well, what about stickers? What about your renewal sticker, or that little sticker that says to get your oil changed at this number of kilometers? That's outside of the path of your windshield wiper, and that is okay. So the windshield wiper path is what I would say is the zone that is the no sticker zone. Outside of that, you're really not that in a problem because the manufacturers determine that's the area that you need to have clear so you can see safely. Excuse me while I hydrate. So stickers, like rear window, you can sticker over your rear window as long as you have a single point that you can see through. And I don't mean that through the window. I mean like you have a rear view mirror or a side view mirror that gives you a clear view of the rear of your vehicle. That is what is required. Obviously, it's better to have more mirrors and see better. I'm trying to think if there's anything else related to wrapping that would be appropriate. Oh, insurance. If you wrap your vehicle and you're putting commercial markings on, stickers, if you're putting on anything that would suggest that you might be being paid or using your vehicle for commercial purposes, make sure you notify your insurance company. Even with the color changes, you should notify them. They have a funny way of not being happy when you modify things and don't tell them. So with the wrap, if you have commercial markings all over your vehicle, they may determine that you are not covered by your basic coverage because now you're using it for commercial purposes. There was a big trend a while ago where people were wrapping their vehicle and leaving it at different locations for advertising dollars, and that was a big problem for insurance companies, from what I understand. And Alex coming in from Twitch says, I check my wipers every year or two. That's too long, my friend. I check and change mine at least once a season. Of course, that's my opinion, and you do what works for you. But if you change your windshield wipers, it's like a brand new car again. I know it's an exaggeration. What can I say? Can I tow a trailer with a G1? That's coming in from chat. Yes, you can. I wouldn't suggest it. You're learning to drive as a G1. Don't give yourself other obstacles to take away from the focus of just learning how to drive. Obviously, towing something is not the best thing to do, but it is legal. You can drive any motor vehicle that's covered with your G license, with a G license, while you're a G1 being supervised. Same goes obviously for a G2, but I don't think it's a good idea. That, do what you got to do. Best advice for an officer doing their first impaired: get help. Find a friend. If you're making your first arrest and it's the paperwork that tends to be an issue. Addressing somebody for impaired operation is pretty straightforward, but it's the paperwork. Find your guru, find your mentor on your shift, and get some guidance. But to be thorough, make sure it's good to go, and be as complete as you can, because you want to make sure that goes where it's supposed to go. Okay. I, by the way, love impaired operation investigations, and I became quite proficient with the paperwork. So to me, that's not a big deal, but it is daunting for someone who's new or hasn't done one before or doesn't do them regularly. Like I said, find a friend. Favorite patrol vehicle throughout the years? I love the Crown Vics. Love the Crown Vics, but my favorite patrol vehicle is the Harley Davidson that I rode as a member of the motor squad, and it's the most comfortable. It's the best. It's the best option. Wind in what little hair I have, but no, it's the best thing since sliced bread. Can I park my car on my front lawn? Bylaws will prevent you from doing that, or at least if you may receive a ticket for that, because it's generally not permitted. But you know what? Stick around till for another 13 minutes, and Aaron Urquhart, who is TPS_Bikehart and one of the media officers for the Parking Enforcement Unit, is joining us for a little mingle on TikTok. Everyone will be able to hear her, but she's coming in through TikTok. Okay. So you should follow her, and you should also follow Parking TPS. What is this? Can I use... Okay. Can cars use the on-ramp intended for merging on highways to pass others? So can you use the on-ramp to pass? Well, obviously, if you're coming in and you're coming off of the on-ramp to pass, you're coming in from not on the highway, entering the highway, you're expected to go use the entire merge lane to get in. So you're not passing, you're merging and not trying to cut over in traffic at the first available opportunity. You're trying to get out of the way. There could be many people behind you, and slamming on your brakes and not utilizing that entire lane is not safe. What you cannot do is make a lane change from the highway onto the merge lane, pass people, and cut back in. That is an unsafe practice, and that's something that you should not be doing. Passing on the right unsafely, I think that qualifies. I'd have to see what the appropriate charge is. It's not a charge I've laid because we're the Toronto Police and we have 2 expressways, and that's generally not an issue on our highway, but it's definitely an issue on the 401. We should have the OPP join us one day and talk. They don't have their own account, but we should have them join us. Okay. What is the question here? Not a question. Family is TPS. Love the show. Well, thank you very much. I much appreciate it. Love the feedback. Now you just have to like all our videos and get 50 subscribers. No, I'm kidding. Thanks very much for the feedback. Really appreciate it. What if you choke while driving? So you're eating something or drinking something, or you're having issues or medical issues of any kind while you're driving. Turn your hazards on. Dial 911 on your phone and pull over safely. The order of operations on that is irrelevant. The fact is you need to safely pull over off the road and call 911. And if you don't get an opportunity to, because things can happen quite quickly. We want to get you help. So if you can explain where you are, if you can breathe, if you can speak, obviously, it's a scary situation. But by giving us getting that phone going to call for help and pulling over safely to get off the road. Because if you lose consciousness while you're driving, things are going to get a lot worse a lot quickly, or a lot quickly. Boy, my speaking ability is on point. Let's see here.
No, I don't want to lose my speaking ability today, sir.
Okay, well, you ask a question while I refill my water mug.
If I just have my passport here, what else do I need in order for me to be able to legally work in Canada? Not traffic related.
I have no idea. Legally working, I think you need to. Well, I have no idea. I'm not even going to speculate. You need to talk to somebody who knows the answer to that, and it is likely applying for a social insurance number and getting a permit to work here. But I don't know, as someone who is a new resident or is visiting, what is required. Generally, a permanent resident status, I think, but a work permit would get you somewhere. I just don't know the answer. So that actually doesn't fall into policing or traffic. So it's right outside of the park. Where can I go drifting? You can drift on a racetrack. You cannot drift on private property or public property, or roads is what I was really getting at. Okay. Can I drift in Canada if I have a New Hampshire? Is that New Hampshire state license? No, because we will take your vehicle, seize it for 14 days, and suspend your license for 30 days. So it doesn't matter.
Drive.
Sorry?
It says drive. Can I drive in Canada?
Oh, I was still on. Okay, sorry. Yeah, I thought you were talking about drift. Yeah, thank you for clarifying. My reading ability there is also going with my speaking ability today. Yeah, you can drive in Canada with a New Hampshire state license. My bad. Absolutely. We actually. Yeah.
He was ready.
So, yeah, the deal is that you can certainly, in fact, you can drive with a license from just about anywhere while you're visiting. So, absolutely. Yes. Okay. In fact, if you move here and become a resident, you can drive with your license from elsewhere for 30 days. Boy, that was that foot right in the mouth there. Okay. How long does my suspended license stay on the record for? So a suspension is part of your long-term history from a police perspective and for your driver's abstract. But when it comes to driving, like your insurance company and so on, they generally see things current. They see up to 3 years because your convictions come off at 3 years. But your suspensions, I don't know. If Tassos were in the room, he'd be able to answer us. Generally speaking, again, convictions, 3 years from the date of conviction, and points, 2 years from the date of offense. But suspensions, I can always see them, so I don't know how long they can see them, they being the insurance companies. Not sure what this question is. What if you get pulled over with it in your system? I assume drugs or alcohol, but I don't know what you're talking about for sure, so please clarify. Am I liable for passengers who refuse to put on seatbelts? Liable. So depends on their age. If they're under the age of 16, you would be liable. You're responsible as a driver for ensuring that passengers in your vehicle under the age of 16 wear their seatbelts, and you can be ticketed, and there are points for that. If they are 16 or over, they get their own ticket. So 16, 17, and up, yeah, they're getting their own ticket. If you're the parent, you're getting to pay for it anyway, I imagine, but still, they're the ones that it's issued. It doesn't go on your driving record, so bonus. But at the end of the day, I don't like to drive if someone in my car refuses to, or sorry, let me rephrase. I don't like to drive them if they won't put their seatbelt on. So my father, who hates wearing a seatbelt and it causes that ding, ding, ding to keep on dinging, yeah, I won't, I'm telling him to get out of my car. If you can't put a seatbelt on, I'm not driving you anywhere. I am that guy. Because I don't want to get into a collision, and I have been in collisions. I don't want to be in a collision with someone and have them die or be ejected, and I now have to deal with that. Now, in terms of liability, is it your insurance that will cover it? Yeah, everything comes out of your insurance. Ultimately, someone's going to get paid. They're still going to sue you or your insurance company when they're injured. Maybe not your father, but other people. Yeah, they're going to get their benefits out of you. So. Engage 416 is on Instagram and in the chat. How's it going? Hope all is well. Is there a ticket for using a phone while driving a tractor? Not on private property, but I think it would qualify if it was on the road. It's still a motor vehicle. It's an implement of husbandry. But you know what? Road building materials are now road building machines are now classified for that charge, I believe. So, yeah, you could get ticketed, I believe. And I'll have to verify for certain, but I do believe that they are eligible. Okay. Oh, Tassos is here. Convictions, 3 years. You're right. Suspensions, 3 years also. Okay. So for the person who was asking about suspensions, how long can they see them? They being the folks who are the insurance companies, suspensions remain for 3 years as well. And I imagine that's from when they were added. Okay. Time frame to inform family of death by officer. Not sure what we're talking about. You just mean that someone died in a collision situation. When do we inform the family? As soon as we can. I don't believe that there's a specific time frame, but we make efforts to let the family know right away. And it's not police constables who do that. It's usually sergeants, and it's usually done relatively quickly. Can I drive on my own at 18 years old with a permit? No. You can drive on your own with a license that enables you to drive on your own. So in Ontario, that requires you to have a G2. If you're a G1 and you're 400 years old, you cannot drive alone. It doesn't matter how old you are. It's the status of your license that gives you the authority to drive a motor vehicle. Can I drive and eat a burger? Yes. Should you? Maybe. If you are unable to do it safely, is it an offense? Absolutely. It'll become careless driving. Okay. Truckman says, if people don't give you a reason to pull them over, do you worry about how dark their tint is? That's usually, I usually only respond. Yeah, absolutely. If I can't see you as the driver, that's the reason I'm pulling you over. You're not allowed to what's the word I'm looking for that doesn't come to my... You can't prevent us from looking into your vehicle. It's obscuring the interior of your motor vehicle. We have to be able to see you. So yeah, I pulled over vehicles simply and solely for the purpose of charging them for having tints that are illegal. Okay. What should your BAC be if you are 21? You're still 0 BAC when you're driving. You cannot have a BAC over 0 until you're 22. Regardless of the status of your license. You can have a full G, you're still a novice driver or a young driver. Let's see here. Can excessive noise charges be given to truckers from this weekend for their horns? Excessive noise for motor vehicles being operated on the highway, which is any road in Ontario, can be late. It's not excessive noise, it's unnecessary noise. So it could be. I can't speak to whether or not what will happen, but it's certainly a charge that's eligible to be charged. Now, if they're on private property, that's not something they can do. We can't lay a charge for unnecessary noise because that's an HTA offense that doesn't apply to private property. So it really depends.
Ready to go down memory lane?
Memory lane?
Is there a police motorcycle training course for the public?
Oh, okay. So motorcycling, I'm a former motor squad officer. Favorite job I've ever had as a police constable is that of being a motor squad officer. Just saying, if anyone's listening. But no. There was once where they raffled off an opportunity to get some training for a charity at the Chief's Gala for fundraising, but there's no police training by the police. Now, there are police officers who are qualified training or qualified instructors who do offer civilians training, but it's not police training. Now it's their training, and that's something they do on the side, or maybe they're retired and do it. But there is a group. I don't know their name. I don't know where they're from, but I think it's a group of motor officers from around North America who do that kind of stuff. And it's really cool. Fantastic training that we do, and it makes you a safer driver. Doesn't make you faster, doesn't make you do anything other than learn how to truly push your motorcycle to the limits of what it's capable of in the safest possible way. Okay. This is a good question. If driving on snow and your car slipped and crashed into the car next to you, what would the offense be? It could be so many things. It really depends. First off, you're giving us very specific details. Ultimately, regardless of the fact that it slipped on ice and whatnot, is you may be driving beyond that of road conditions. You may be driving too quickly or unsafely for the road conditions. So was it an unsafe move? Like, losing control doesn't absolve you of the responsibility of maintaining control of your vehicle. So if you went into their lane, it would still be an unsafe lane change or move or careless driving for going faster than what you should have been going. It could be many different things, but there's no specific, and without knowing more about the potential or details of the collision, it's hard to tell you a charge. But careless driving would certainly fit. Okay. What's this? This is a duplicate. Impaired driving is something I want to talk about. We're going into the weekend and things are open again, so impaired operation numbers might go up this weekend. I hope not. I hope it's always zero. I always hope that there's nobody to find on the road because nobody is drinking and driving or drugging and driving. Is drugging and driving? Driving impaired. Impaired driving is bad. It's dangerous. It's illegal. So last weekend we had 8 people arrested. The weekend before that, 7. The weekend before that, 7. The weekend before that, 8. So that's 30 people since January 1st, like in the new year, that have been charged for impaired operation offenses. Now, each week it's been lower than the last weekend of December, which was 16 people. But that's still way too many. There's no reason anyone should be behind the wheel of a motor vehicle if they are, under the influence of any drug or alcohol. So we have been advised that Aaron is ready to go. So let's bring Aaron. Actually, let me make sure I want to make sure we haven't forgotten anybody that has been waiting patiently. Obviously, we're going to be forgetting some, but Matt coming in from YouTube says, my G2 is expired during COVID and I'm due for my G license. What do I have to do to get it done this month, or do I have till the end of this year? So Matt, if yours expired during COVID, you are actually covered under an extension until December 31st, 2022. So you're good to go. Get your test, do your thing, no stress. You're still covered. If you had a full license and it expired, then you have to renew by the end of the month. Hey, let's bring in Aaron. Hi, Aaron. You should probably. I got to get you using your your earbuds because it makes for better sound for us. But you have them. Oh, even better. Let's see if that works. If we get disconnected, then it's my fault.
Oh,
that was fantastic.
I caught it.
Okay.
Is that better?
It'll likely be better. It just means that I won't hear myself through you, and that will just make everybody happy. So what's going on? How are you?
Not much. Sorry, I've been trying to I had to move into the boardroom because it kept lagging in the other room. So I've been running around quickly just trying to set up. So hopefully it'll be okay.
I am glad that you did that, because what you've basically just confirmed for me is that I can't move into that office until we have Wi-Fi that works, because we were going to move our studio into that room, and if that room has no Wi-Fi or cellular coverage, we're not good. Not good to move there. We'll have to figure it out.
No, you kept pausing every 2 seconds.
Yeah, so. That's bad. Everyone would lose their minds. Linda, coming in from Facebook, says, hi, Aaron, welcome.
Hello, Linda. Happy Friday.
Yeah. Sorry for those that can hear you but can't see you. Aaron is currently coming in on TikTok. It's the only platform that is currently got visuals. So if you want to see her, you should jump over to TikTok. Our account is Traffic Services on TikTok, and you are TPS_Bikeheart on TikTok. Yes. But you have a new account, and that's one of the reasons we wanted to have you come on, talk about the fact that you are now full-time in the role of media relations. You were always a media relations officer within parking, but now you're full-time, and you have a partner and new gear, and you're going to be making magical movies on the platform.
Yeah, it's been awesome. So it's been the first week of this new role. Well, new but not new, like you said. I've been doing this, but I've stepped aside from my platoon and reporting to hit the road every day, and now I hit social media every day and creating content for you all and educational information all about parking in the city of Toronto. And a lot of people don't seem to realize how big and vast parking enforcement actually is, because people just think we're just slamming tickets on windshields, but we're here to show you all the behind the scenes, all of the other departments within parking enforcement.
Because there's specialty units. You got some really cool stuff in parking, like the street sweeper one is one of my favorites.
Yeah, so that's what people who don't know what street sweepers are. It's a vehicle that goes around and scans license plates automatically on the top of the vehicle. And it looks for stolen license plate or stolen vehicles. And we are half of the reason that we recover stolen vehicles, because we drive around the city, and it actually helps police in a lot of circumstances too, with investigations, vehicles of interest and whatnot. So yeah, that's a really cool department that we have, and I can't wait to showcase it.
Yeah, I want to see. I'm waiting.
TikTok, Twitter, yeah. So hopefully one day we're gonna sort it out. We'll do a ride along with them, get to see a day in their life, because I've never worked that job, so I would love to.
So you get to do a ride along with them. That'd be cool. Just to let you
yeah.
know,
So
Jenna has been waiting for you to come on, and she says so. You can't see her message because she's logged in on our
oh,
live,
okay.
not yours, and we're just dividing our stuff. So you have different comments than we do. Just a quick question. This isn't. Oh, actually, let's bring a question on that came in earlier. The question was, can I park on my front lawn?
So no, that's something that we don't enforce. So that would be like city bylaw
Oh,
officers would
okay.
come and ticket for that. Yeah. So yeah, grass. The vehicles are not meant to be on your lawn. With that said, I think that would probably be enforced upon complaint basis. Like if someone were to call 311 or even us, we would probably forward it over to city bylaw.
Well, how about
So
this one?
I've never ticketed for that.
Oh, good to know. Now, you do
Yeah.
have to have validation. You have to have plates and a validation sticker to be parked on the road. And I understand in certain municipalities, also on your driveway, you have to have a valid tag. Is that the same in Toronto?
Yeah, so you can't even have like an unplated vehicle in your driveway, or unless if it's uninsured or whatnot. I'm not certain on that. You might know a little bit more about that. But yeah, you can't like it's just considered abandoned if it doesn't have a plate or a validation sticker, and then that's what we come. We'll sit on it. Police gets involved, and they would eventually just tow if it's on the street. Driveway, I'm assuming we're not going to come and tow your car off your driveway. But yeah, any unplated vehicles are considered abandoned in our department on parking enforcement.
Good to know. Q, do you remember what
Yes.
the other question was? There was another question about parking that has since escaped my, and Q doesn't remember either, so I don't feel as bad now. Someone asked about lane splitting on a motorcycle. I know it's not your department, but the lane splitting on a motorcycle, if you're overheating, lane splitting is not permitted regardless of overheating. You can pull over if your vehicle is having mechanical issues and let it cool down, because obviously breaking down from truly overheating is bad. So that's something that would be acceptable, but not lane splitting. Let's see here. Apparently, we're having a lot of bad lag. That's very strange because we're showing a stable connection. So the bad lag might be on your end, maybe, possibly. That was from JTAR 26, who was saying that there's some bad lag. I'm in the midst of creating a proposal to request a high-speed internet that would allow us to do this, not requiring LTE. But what can I say? Every day is an adventure.
Yeah. I have a question here I can answer if you don't mind me popping in here. It's on my list. So do we have two different streams
Yes.
of
Your
comments
live
right
is
now?
your
Okay.
live with your comments, and mine is mine, and we see each other and hear each other. But
Oh, okay.
yes. And by the way, if no one's
all different.
hit the button and followed Erin at TPS_BikeCart, you can do that by tapping her name and ID at the bottom right-hand corner of the picture of her.
Yeah. Please do that. And also jump on over to the parking TPS account and follow us there, because we're going to have a lot more content flowing through there as well. But I have a question here that says, what are the rules for handicap parking permit and parking in no parking zones? Does it apply to no stopping zones? So that's a good question that I can happily answer. So handicap, we refer to them as accessible permits. So the accessible permits, they do exempt you in a regular, just no parking zone. So like the P with the slash through it, no parking anytime. If you have that accessible permit and it is actually, assigned to you, or you have the person with you that it is assigned to, because it's assigned to a person and not a vehicle. So yes, you are allowed to park in regular no parking zones, but you are not exempt from a no stopping zone. No stopping is no stopping for everyone, whether you have the accessible permit or not. So just always be observant and mindful of that whenever you're using that permit. So hope that answers your question.
So there's a question here about bike lanes. What is the fine for parking on a bike lane?
Oh, well, that's my forte, as you all know, or as most of you know.
Bike
lane,
heart. It's kind of a hint.
Bike heart. It's $150 for parking, stopping, pulling into a bike lane.
And you know what?
A hard no.
These are designed to keep vulnerable road users, specifically cyclists, safe. So if you are pulling into them, if you're parking, you are putting them at risk. And it's serious, and enforcement, whether it be by police officers or parking enforcement officers, is undertaken, because as a police officer, I can lay you a charge that actually affects your driver's license, whereas the ticket that you, Erin, write doesn't. But I'm out there, or when I'm out there, I look forward to writing those tickets. And and the question, sorry, was it 110? What's the fine on your end for that? The actual dollar amount.
For bike lane?
Yes.
It's $150.
150. Q wanted to double down and make sure that we said the fine. I thought you covered it, but you know.
Yeah. Yes, 150.
Okay.
So I'm just trying to go through my comments here too. Wow, there's actually 143 people in here. So that's
on your
nice. Hi,
side, so that
everyone.
means between us we
On
have over
my
300
side.
people. Yeah, the end of our stream
Wow.
tends to maybe they're popping over and jumping on yours, which is exactly what we want you to do. It's like on Twitch when we raid, we could do this and then you could start a live. You could do. Are you going to do your first 4.5 hour live stream now?
What?
I am playing games. I'm playing games.
I know, I wasn't prepared for that. So sorry, I'm just reading comments. Sean's side is buffering, but this side is good.
Really?
It's weird.
Weird.
Yeah, and honestly, like it was before I moved into this room, it was not good at all. So maybe it's just location. Like
It could be. It's really strange because I don't know why that's happening. We've got strong signal, full signal, and we are showing green. So I'm going to put in a report with TikTok because I can do that. Not that it does anything, but I'm going to do it anyway. Sadly,
I just saw another comment. Oh, sorry, go on.
I was going to say, sadly,
I need a moderator.
you might be able to find some. You know, if you know, we have a magical group of moderators who help us out, and I'm not volunteering them, but you know what? Your community will come and help you. That's what the magic about TikTok and the other platforms is. We have people who care about the messaging. They want to know, the information that you have, and they want to make sure that you are able to present it. So it's amazing. Doing this for just over a year. Just under a year, so not 12 months, but we started in 2021, really coming on here and doing lives every day. We've grown so much, and our base of assistants in terms of volunteers has grown so much. It's really amazing. We've got a group of friends, a group that are like our moderator family.
Yeah, actually, just Emma is Emma. That's her. Emma_XX. She's in my live, and she just said moderator here. So I was like, "You want to help me out too?"
So you know how you can add her as a moderator is hit her icon. It'll come up, and you can actually create a moderator status for her, and it'll give her the ability to mute people in your live stream if they are not treating you well.
Yes, well, I definitely need that because I'm trying to look at you and then comments at the same time. It's crazy. I'm still a little new to the.
So it's funny. I'm seeing so many people who have various responses to the lag question, and so people are seeing it's good, it's not good. Some say terrible connection. My goodness, it's all over the place. Someone in Sault Ste. Marie says they have no problems here. So it could be servers on TikTok side. It could be your individual connections. I don't know the answer. I don't know why it's happening, but I can tell you that we're also available on other platforms. So if you are having issues and want a better, more secure, or more stable connection, you could always try our Twitch account, our YouTube account, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter. All of those are running the same thing. The only thing is you won't see Aaron if you do that. If you're coming in from traffic services, that's just going to see me staring at multiple cameras and talking to you.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Do I have any questions here? Is offensive stickers or banners on cars illegal? No, there's no charge for offensive sticker. As long as you're not obstructing your vision, I don't think that it's an issue. Obviously, I don't appreciate offensive stuff. I have kids, they look at the window and they read things, and then I have to explain why someone decided it was a good idea to put that on their vehicle. So I don't appreciate it, but I don't think I can charge you for anything unless it was something that was falling into the realm of hate speech or something like those. Then I think there is something we can do, but that's different. Dotted Snow coming in from Twitch says Q is the best mod. Because they're trying to create a mod war here. Is it illegal to reverse at a traffic light that has changed? Did it change into something other than a traffic light? What do you mean that it changed? Like you are you're going the wrong way. Trying to figure out where you do. It's not safe to do that, obviously. So if you're at an intersection and you have decided you are in the wrong place, drive forward, make a turn, either make a bunch of right turns to correct your direction of travel, or make a U-turn if it's legal and safe to do so. But I wouldn't reverse at a traffic light that's looking to get into a collision, which you would be responsible for. Tassos wants to know, does TPS give any forgiveness if someone is out of money in paid parking but went over any few minutes of forgiveness? Parking question.
Yeah, so actually I just saw another question related to kind of the exact same thing about meters and grace periods and whatnot. So sorry, can you just repeat that question one more
Yes.
time?
Does TPS give any forgiveness if someone out of money in paid parking but went over any few minutes forgiveness? So is there a grace period beyond? So if I'm done at 1 o'clock, do I have a minute or two to go longer?
Oh, yeah. So that's exactly the same question. It was like, what's the grace period? So yes, actually, you get a 10-minute. It's our policy. It's not like in the bylaw or anything. It's just what we practice at Toronto Police Parking. So you have a 10-minute grace period between the time that your receipt expires. So that gives you 10 minutes to, top it up or come back to your car and go pay at the meter. But that's what the Green P app is for. It's very amazing for that. Actually, I did a video about that yesterday on the parking TikTok, about how there was a lot of people unpaid yesterday just because there was a little bit of snow. That doesn't mean you can't not pay for parking, but also
There's
that's why the
options.
Green P app, yeah, the Green P app is super user friendly. You can sit in your car. You don't even have to get out and freeze and get your hands all cold paying at the meter. And
I love that
yeah,
app.
so yeah,
I
me too. I
and
use
when
it all the time.
back when I was sitting in restaurants, I forgot what that feels like. But when I used to go to a restaurant, and it would alert me, it would pop up on the phone, and of course you
Yeah.
see an alert. Oh, I've got 5 minutes left. You can choose to pay and extend. It's awesome. So there's no
Yeah.
excuse to run out of parking, especially when that's tied to an account that because running out of money, you don't have the physical need to go out and put money in a meter. You can do it all electronically, bill it to your credit card. So great option.
Yeah.
Is it Dia Kumaka says, to all our officers, thank you for all you do. God bless you all. God bless us all. My apologies. I misread that the first time. There was no spaces. Made it hard. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Always love feedback and always love. So is there any way, what is this? Is there any way that I could look up that I had got a red light ticket or a speed ticket issued by camera other than receiving it in the mail? You could certainly go to the Ministry of Transportation and talk to them. They would be the ones who'd be able to see if anything is against your driver's license or your parking, or your motor vehicle permit, if there's a conviction registered there. But if they don't, if it hasn't come in the mail, or if it didn't and it did and you missed it, or they're going to send you a payment slip, and eventually that's going to show up on your stuff. So yeah, you can check with them, but I don't know what the process is for that. Matt has a question about truckers, and not in the way of the convoy business, but truckers parking in a not standing or not parking zone because they are rushing in for an emergency washroom break, or they need to check the place before pulling in. Do they get a ticket for that? So it's a moment they're gonna. So the scenario is they pull up because they got a tinkle, or they have to check to make sure there's somewhere for them to safely go. Would they be immediately ticketed?
So this is not a gray area question. So it all depends, because like say there's a trucker or someone who parked in a no standing zone and I didn't see them pull into there, get out of their car, run in and go use the washroom. If it's a no standing zone and it's left unoccupied, yes, they're most likely going to get a ticket. But if I see a truck going up, it's actually policy for officers to ask a driver to move out of a no standing zone first before issuing a ticket. So if it was occupied, and of course, if the guy or girl was just like, oh, I'm just running in to use the washroom, and they're in like a massive truck, like I use my discretion. I cut the person a break and whatnot, especially in a no parking zone. No parking zones are meant for, they're no parking, but we give delivery drivers like 10 minutes to go and do a delivery in those no parking zones. So I wouldn't see an issue with letting a driver or taxi driver, Uber driver, whatever the driver is, someone who's out on the road and they don't have options for a washroom, because I understand, because I had that issue too out on the road on my bike, and I don't have to park somewhere illegally to do it, but still I wouldn't ticket them immediately. I would cut them a break if I knew the reason why they were there.
So you need
I
need the tinkle sign.
How am I going to know?
Or I'm just around the corner. Find me by the You know what? I'm the
yeah.
guy in the green jacket who's looking down the alley. Whatever the case may be, there might be a way of communicating that. If you were charged, you might be able to bring that to court and explain it, which may result in them doing something, but not guaranteed, but it may result. Completely separate question, and it relates to bicycles. Someone wants to know about the fine for opening your door, causing a collision, or just something where a vehicle opens a door. And I can tell you that opening a door improperly And there may be more specific charges other than that, but just opening the door improperly into a roadway is a $365 fine with 3 demerit points, just for those who are interested in knowing about that.
That's good to know.
Well,
I've been very close to being doored before. And it's
well, yeah, and it's for the longest time that was just a report, an incident report, and I believe now it qualifies as a collision report. But there's so many things. There's so many different charges. Just leaving your door open. You know, people who are unloading their vehicle and they're constantly just walking away but leaving the door open. That's a charge too. Oddly enough, it's the same amount of money, whether you open it or just leave it open. So these are things that are serious. A Q saying that some people are experiencing freezes on TikTok, and we don't know why, because it shows here that we have full signal strength and we have tons of stability. Which, I don't know. If you do want a more stable connection, if you want to have the higher definition, you can certainly be watching us on Twitch, on YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook. They're all coming through a wide data pipe where TikTok is coming through cellular. But it should be going well. It should be fine. Okay, and some people aren't. Well, here, say something about high beam users in the city of Toronto. So folks who are using their high beams inappropriately. Now, you have to know that high beams are actually what your daytime running lights are. High beam lights are your daytime runners. So people who don't have their full headlighting system on are eligible for using the inappropriate bulb, for not having their taillights activated, by not using their full headlighting system. Now, laws are coming into play, or have already come into play, where new vehicles are going to be different. So the big issue is people get into a car and their dashboard's lit up, so they go, oh, my lights are on, having no idea that they are not. So they're trying to change things from a manufacturer's perspective. But at the end of the day, make sure your headlights are on. It's kind of important.
I have a question here from our friend Tassos. He was saying, what's the rule parking from street corners? So you need to be 9 meters.
That was the question that we couldn't remember earlier.
That was the question?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I'm going to stand back up. Sorry, my legs were sore. I just wanted to
He just needed a break. My problem is I've changed. I have a desk that goes up and down, and I can't sit anymore. It's just too painful. So I'm now standing through our lives. It's a totally different thing. This is why I'm constantly readjusting, because my injuries are such that I can't sit too long. I can't stand too long. So once this is over, I'll be sitting down, recovering from standing up. Anyway, that's a TMI for everybody.
But yeah, Tassos, it's 9 meters from like intersections, 9 meters to the curb, or sorry, the corner essentially. So you can't be over a corner. You have to leave at least 9 meters of space. So there is a good line of sight for vehicles turning and whatnot.
It's all about visibility and safety. Laws generally have been put into play because there's an issue that they're addressing. They're not just willy-nilly cash grabs. They are actually there to keep people safe.
So someone, Chris 122 asked, Toronto Police and Toronto Police PEO under the same system or different entity? So we work for Toronto Police, but we are an umbrella. So I'm not a police officer. I am a uniformed civilian, but we work for the same service.
Yeah, you're still a member of the Toronto Police Service. You are still under the same command structure. Like I'm a police constable. We have different ranks, but we still work for the chief. We still have a structure, and ultimately we have the same superintendent. So we are both part of traffic operations, being that we are both traffic related, run by the same person, who is Scott Baptist. He's a superintendent and the officer in charge of or commanding officer. Yeah. Yes. Let's see here. We got Willie John says, love your lives. Keep up the great job. Then Moody wants to know, why do we have alternate side parking that changes every month?
You know, I get this question a lot, and I don't know. I think it's been in the city of Toronto for years and years. It's more in like certain divisions. So like in 14 division, there's a lot of change over streets. You know what? I want to do some research on that question before I try to answer it, because I don't know the reason, to be completely honest.
It's probably to let the pavement sink evenly as we get closer and closer to...
Yeah, like maybe it's for like snow because it's from like
If it's
spring
winter, it's
to
probably snow removal, so they can
November.
work on the accumulation.
Yeah,
I'm only guessing too, so I look forward to hearing what your answer is after you do all your research. I
yeah.
do have a
So
question
yeah, I'll
coming
do a
in.
research.
Yeah, let us know. Nadeem coming in
Yeah.
from Instagram says, parking. Any forgiveness to truck drivers trying to make downtown deliveries? It's so hard to find a spot to stop and unload.
Yes. So a lot of trucks downtown do get tickets, especially big, large, delivery trucks and whatnot. And unfortunately, like if they're going to stop on Bloor Street in a no stopping zone or or like a bike lane, that's because there's bike lanes everywhere now. If they're parked illegally, unfortunately, yes, they are going to get a ticket. But the city has put in a lot more loading zones lately, and honestly, what there's a loading zone full of a bunch of like commercial vehicles, or sorry, not commercial vehicles, just like regular economy cars. And there's a truck parked illegally because they don't get that loading zone. I go and enforce the vehicles that are in the allotted delivery zone first, right? And if there are people sitting in their car, which a lot of the times in the winter there is, I'll ask them to move and I say that you're in a spot that this truck needs, right? But yeah, if the truck driver's sitting in it, I try to ask them to move first. It's again, it all depends on the circumstance. If it's an unoccupied truck and the bed's down and they're loading stuff into a building and they're parked illegally, they're 100% going to get a ticket. But
Good
yeah,
to know.
I don't make the rules. I just enforce them.
So interesting thing, we got a bunch of people said that's lagging so badly that they've jumped out. They said live is lagging for me. Sorry, I'm gonna go by. Someone had a great comment that I wanted. I said, Recycle Mikey says, you're both awesome. Don't let anyone tell you not. Thank you very much. And it's funny. I know we're talking about the lag. It's become the hijacking topic of the whole conversation. But so many different people are getting different responses, and there's no consistency as to what the problem is. But we are going to report this and do that. And in fact, I'm going to be speaking to TikTok on the phone in a not too distant future, very shortly. In fact, Supernova, hello, we see you, and we got an. I was about to say read something and it went away. See, Offer Tony says no lag for me. See, we don't know. Lango, I don't know how to pronounce it any other way, but Lango says I appreciate that good job, guys. Okay, let's see if there's anything coming in from other platforms. Questions that we have not addressed. We covered everything on Instagram. Instagram, last opportunity, because we're going to wrap up, at least I'm going to wrap up in the next little while. So if you've got questions that haven't been answered, I know there was a ton of questions in our Q&A, but when we go live with a guest or a co-host, we lose access to our Q&A. So I don't know if there's a question.
Sorry.
No, not sorry. We're happy to have you. It is amazing. So Vriskanda says, can you clarify if a clear cover on top of a license plate is allowed? I'm aware colored covers are not allowed. So the answer is you can't have any cover legally. Now, do we hunt down and look for everyone with a clear cover? No, generally it's not an issue. It is something that could obstruct or obscure your license plate, and it is illegal, and you shouldn't have any. But we're not actively looking for it. For clear ones. However, if it's tinted, dark, dirty, if we cannot read your plate, if it's illegible, then you would be getting a ticket for dirty plate or obscured plate. So yes. So technically not legal, but I would suggest not using them. Okay. Scrolling.
People are saying on this end it's like not lagging, and then I don't know what's going on.
I don't know.
But,
I don't know. You know what? If everyone goes over to your side, it's still good by me. It's no issues. You're not offending me if it's a better connection. I just don't understand why we're having issues.
Yeah.
Just saying. But I am. Like I said, I'm in the process of writing a request to try and get some cable a cable modem in to be able to get better upload speeds and be able to use Wi-Fi and not rely on LTE. So we do it enough that it makes sense. Okay. Question is, do you give parking tickets on private property like malls?
So yes, we do, but we need to be invited by the owners of the property or anyone authorized by the property. So security, landlords, whatnot. But we can't just show up on private property and start ticketing. We need to be invited, and they need to sign off on it. So
this is
yes,
that's that whole that's the whole ticket for. Because we talked about that earlier. It was about whether or not you can get a ticket for parking in EV charging station, and my answer was that you can. It's a park without consent is the charge, I think. What would you charge someone for on private property? I mean, obviously for fire route, we know fire route's a fire route thing, and we know that, that when it deals with accessible permit, we know about that. But for parking, you're taking up 7 spots because you parked on a 45-degree angle.
Yeah. So actually, personally, like, this is just my opinion. I think the private property fine is too low. It's only $30 fine.
Wow.
So if you're parked in, if you're parked in a condo spot that's not yours and the person comes back, it's $30. To me, it should be a little higher. That's just my opinion. But I'm not the person who, depicts those fines or violations. So, but yeah, it's a $30 fine. But yeah, there's a lot of fire routes in private properties too, like you said, and I think those are $250.
Oh, wow.
I believe. Or 150. I haven't written a fire route ticket in a long time, but yeah.
Justino says, no way, a collab. Yeah. We like having guests. This is awesome. Of course, the limitation is we need to make sure everybody has 1,000 followers in order for them to come up. Now, you have over 200,000 followers, so you're no issue. But we need to get Parking TPS to 1,000 so you can use that account to go live. And we need to get Toronto Police, the main account, because the chief wants to come on. You want to hear from the chief? Chief wants to be able to say something to you. Go follow. There's no videos on it. But at Toronto Police, it's a verified account. Follow them if you'd be so kind. And that is on TikTok. Now, here's a question that comes in for you, and I know the answer, but I'd let you answer it because, you're the pro. So it's Tanya Tiger says, I have a handicap sticker and my passenger doesn't. I have a handicap sticker and my passenger doesn't come into the store. Can I still park in the handicap spot?
So sorry. So is the passenger the one with the permit?
No, the driver. So the driver doesn't have a sticker. They're the passenger. You're the driver who goes in, but you have the permit. Can I still use it? And
if the person is not with you, no.
But they're the driver. They're the driver who has the permit.
Sorry.
So they park the car and they go into the store.
Yeah. So if it's like on the permit itself, it'll have an actual D/P on it. So it could be like a hybrid one that it's for driver and passenger. So that's how we depict it. So as long as it has either D or P on it for driver or passenger, well, it should have a P on it if it's for the passenger, then yes. But if it doesn't have that, then no.
So essentially, I'm the driver. My passenger may or may not even have a driver's license. I, as the driver, am eligible to park in that parking spot because I have a permit and then go into the store, regardless of the fact that nobody else is coming with me. That doesn't change anything. The issue, let's reverse it though. You're the driver. Your passenger has the permit. You drop them off at the front door of a building. Can you park in a handicapped spot? Well, you cannot in that situation. So you can't
if
drive.
You're dropping them off. Yeah, you can park there if you're dropping the person off.
But I mean, and then go use this.
Don't have it.
Yeah, so the driver in scenario 2, the driver does not have a permit for themselves. It's only passenger only. You drop off your passenger. They're inside. They're no longer in your motor vehicle. You are no longer eligible to park somewhere else. Like you can't drive away and use a accessible permit at that point because they're not physically in the vehicle. And I know someone. They own a restaurant downtown, and their child. They dropped the child off with mom, going to a doctor's appointment, and then he drove and parked in a handicap spot, and got a ticket. And he was very upset. They actually seized the permit, but it was a misunderstanding. He didn't realize that he wasn't eligible to use it when his child wasn't physically in the vehicle. Yeah. I got a question that's completely unrelated to parking. Can a license plate on a motorcycle be on the side? Now, there's 2 ways to interpret your question. Do you mean portrait versus landscape, which is turning it right so it's up and down, sideways, versus horizontal to the ground? It has to be horizontal. It has to be legible at a distance without me trying to do this to see it. Yeah, it can't be vertical. Now, if you mean side, like the side of the vehicle, no, then it cannot be at all. Let's see here. I think. Oh, we just had a whole bunch of stuff. Does towing happen first or parking tickets?
So ticket comes first, then tow. So in order for us to tow a vehicle, we need to put a ticket on the windshield first. So,
yeah. Okay, so yeah.
Ticket's always first.
Ticket comes first, and then, and do you have to wait, or you could, there's questions as to whether or not you're married.
No ring. But I'm not single.
Thanks for
I'll say that.
clarifying.
I guess because I don't know. I'm not married.
That wasn't uncomfortable at all. Okay, for me, never mind for you.
Is my face red?
Yeah,
Right?
mine's
Yeah.
changing color. Okay, Tanya Tiger says, I was a little confused by the response, but I think that was a yes, I can. So this is going back to, you're the driver, you have the permit, you can park there regardless of whether or not people get out of your car or not. If you're driving and it's your permit, yes, you can park and yes, you can get out of the car, even though there's other people still in the car. Absolutely, you are correct.
Yes.
Sorry if it got confusing. We went sort of in circles.
Yeah, we kind of went in a little bit of a scenario play there.
And for Corey, who wants to know if we support the convoy, it's political. We don't get involved with political stuff. Answers about traffic and law and things like that, but personal opinions and politics stay out of our streams. It's just not something that we can touch on. Oh, and Holy Smoke says, sorry, it was just to make us laugh a bit. And it was very effective. Nobody's offended. It's okay. We appreciate the question. And Tanya Tiger says, thank you for the clarification. And Moody wants to know if bicycles can get parking tickets.
Well, no, unless, no, they can't. There's no license plate, there's no ticket, but Sean can give tickets for cyclists breaking traffic laws.
Well, we can issue not for parking, but for cyclists who don't stop at stop signs or run red lights or do some dangerous things. Absolutely. So there's still the rules of the road apply to cyclists, and they have to identify when pulled over under the HTA, or they can be arrested. So it's a serious thing, and many people don't realize that a cycle or a bicycle is a vehicle. It's not a motor vehicle, but it's a vehicle, and it's governed by the Highway Traffic Act. So, but no parking tickets. Let's see here. So Alex wants to know what. Sorry, go ahead for Tassos.
No, he was just back to the towing question. He asked, are you allowed to lock a tire to wait for a tow? So we do not lock tires or put boots on tires.
No boots.
No boots. We just call the tow truck, and if the driver comes back before the tow shows up, then they were not getting towed. So, yeah.
So
anyway, sorry,
Alex,
to cut you off there.
Alex Bergman, I think it is, says, so what can we ask? Because I've asked a couple of questions and wasn't answered. So I apologize if your question was in the Q&A section. I have no access to it right now because we have our co-host, Aaron, and that I just don't have access to it while we're in a live. So that's why if you asked it there, you weren't answered. But additionally, if your question was missed and not read, because every time new stuff loads, they just skip 100 messages, and I may not be seeing what you're asking. So if you want to ask again, I can try and answer. You can ask anything. I don't deal with political questions, but asking things about driving or general policing stuff is no problem. Let's see here. Okay. No cash in vehicles. What is this? No cats in vehicles. Catalytic converter. That's for ruined X4. So catalytic converters are required. It's a Environmental Protection Act charge. It's quite serious. So if you don't have the vehicles and you're respectful, but you're pulled over because you have no cats or there's an issue, you can still get charged. It's quite a serious offense. The whole EPA business is the real deal. Does it mean that you're going to get pulled over because we know you have no cats? If your driving behavior draws attention and we start looking and we find, then you're probably going to get charged.
So actually, my partner, P.O. Hedges, he just sent me a message regarding the changeover because I didn't know how to answer that. So he actually, I would have gotten him in here, but he's in the other room right now. I'll just read the message. He says, changeovers are in place because people don't like cars parked in front of their home. So to make it fair for everyone,
come on, really?
Usually in residential areas. So to make it fair for everyone, these streets have cars parked in front evenly throughout the month. So
that's the reason, because of feelings?
Driveway obstructions. I don't know.
That's the silliest thing I've ever heard. But okay, I'm not the lawmaker. I don't. It's not but feelings, parking because of feelings. I would have never guessed that. But okay, it's got to be fair for everybody. I get it. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, no, we're talking. See, it's all political. Okay. And aesthetics. Q says it's aesthetics.
Feelings. Sorry, I'm laughing. Someone just put a hashtag feelings in the comments.
Well, this could be a new motto for the. Anyway, I shouldn't
Yeah.
go down this road.
Yeah.
So, a question from Jason Nathanson on Instagram: can private property owners tow unwanted or illegally parked cars without parking enforcement attending?
Sorry, I missed that. Say that again.
Can private property owners tow unwanted or illegal parked cars without parking
Oh.
enforcement attending? How would you tow it? Like by yourself?
No. So yeah, usually on a private property, if you're talking in like condo or something like that. So whoever owns that spot, they actually need to prove that they own the spot. They have to provide paperwork. It's the whole thing. There's a lot of paperwork involved because essentially if it's on private property, the person who's calling or requesting the tow is deemed responsible for it.
Right.
So that's why they have to sign off on it. It would need
they
to
have
be
to pay
proven
for
that
it
you
too.
actually I believe if there's any damage, I believe yes.
But
I
think
yes, I guess for the tow.
yes, the private property owner has to
The
pay
tow
for that
part,
to be
yeah.
paid off, towed off their car. It doesn't just get taken away. If it's on the street, the city pays. If it's on your private property, you're responsible to pay and responsible for if it was inappropriately towed. You have to make sure it conforms to a bylaw. Even on private property, signs have to be posted and so on. And that's why you need to call a parking enforcement officer to verify that there is the authority to move that vehicle. So if you wanted to tow it, I used to have a property that had parking that I had to tow vehicles off of. I had to have a sign put up because I was really frustrated. I had a vehicle that was left on the property for months. We had no idea who owned it. So I had to make sure signs were erected, and then I was able to get that vehicle off my property. That's the only reason I know about it. Okay. There was something really good here. What happens if a tourist gets a ticket and doesn't pay and leaves the country? So, in terms of a motor vehicle or driving, a ticket for driving or related to a motor vehicle highway traffic act charge, if you don't pay and it's charged against the driver, then you would be found guilty for not having responded. If you didn't pay or you didn't choose to have a court date or had a court date and never showed up, you'd be convicted. And then you would ultimately be suspended. Now you say, well, I have my license in my home country. How am I suspended? Well, you're suspended here. So if you're driving here, you're driving while suspended and you could be arrested because driving under suspension is an arrestable offense. It could just be an additional ticket, but it's a bad deal. Make sure you take care of your stuff. And now if you're suspended here, you're also suspended in all provinces in Canada. So, and whether or not your home country respects the suspension or not, you may be fine in your own place, but you may want to avoid. And same thing for Canadians traveling in the States in particular. There have been stories where people have been arrested because they failed to, and not just arrested for, it's a serious deal. You're going to get arrested for unpaid fines. It's not a fun experience, from what I understand. Okay.
Okay, sorry. Tasso has another question here, and he's asked it like 3 times, and I feel bad I haven't answered it. He's like, sorry for asking this a few times, Aaron. What if a parking spot on road doesn't fit the full car and part of it is like illegally parked? So come across this all the time. Based on officer's discretion, I go off of half of the vehicle or more. And how I measure that is like if half of your vehicle, like in between the passenger and driver's side door, if you're cut down right in the middle, to me, you're half illegally parked. So you get a ticket.
Oh, I was going to say they got a half price ticket?
No. No, but honestly, like if there's like a bumper in the car or like a little bit of your tire, I'm not going to ticket for that. Again, I go off of half of the vehicle or more. That's just my discretion. Other officers, I can't speak for them. But that's the practice I follow, and all the officers that I have trained and coached, I tell them the same thing. I'm like, don't be ticketing bumpers in a no parking zone or something like that. That just doesn't look good.
Ronnie Truelove wants to know what my issued firearm is. For the Toronto Police, for regular members, it is a Glock Model 22, which is chambered in 40 caliber Smith & Wesson round. It's this particular type of round. 40 caliber Smith & Wesson is the round. That's what we carry. It's the sidearm of choice for many police services across the country and North America. But that's the answer. Now, different. The tactical unit carries a 9mm version. I think it's the Glock 17, but I don't know if that's still the case. And that's it. So I got a question here. How do you HTA ticket a cyclist if they don't have wallet for ID? We don't need a driver's license to issue a ticket for a cyclist. They have to be able to identify, providing their name, date of birth, and relevant information so that we can satisfy ourselves that they are who they say they are. And they would receive a ticket without a driver's license information. What happens after that is a driver's license number is generated for them if they've never been ticketed before. And that is the driver's license number that when you, one day, if they should ever apply for a driver's license in Ontario, they would be issued. So that's how it works. And why don't they have a wallet, or a bag or something? It doesn't mean you can't carry identification.
Or an ID card. Yeah, there's the ID cards now, right?
Or
so
and
they should be able
if you
to
can carry a
get
phone, you
that.
can carry ID. And frankly, you really should, as an adult, be carrying your identification and health card and things like that. Because what happens if you were in a motor or bicycle collision and you were, unfortunately rendered unconscious and taken to the hospital? How do people know who you are? How to communicate? How to get people that you love or that love you to help you? So carry some form of identification. Set up your cell phone. This is a great segue into which is going to be the closing of my side of the live because I've got to do other stuff this morning. But there's something called ICE that was popular 100 years ago before smartphones were smart, and is that you had under ICE you had contacts in case of emergency contacts in your phone. So you created ICE things. Now, if you have an iPhone, you can do better. Use the health app, and you can program in your name, your date of birth, your allergies, your medications, emergency contacts. And even without unlocking your phone, paramedics, police, fire can access this information. Anyone who picks up your phone can access this and call using your phone to call those people without ever giving up any personal data on their end. So it is you check out the emergency contacts feature, the emergency feature on the phone. And when you have it programmed, I want to check to see if mine is actually, I got a new phone. I don't know if I even configured it. Well, now I have something to do, don't I? No, I think it's unlocking because of facial recognition too quickly. But yeah, set up emergency, activate it so that people who are trying to help you can help you and get vital information to make for a safer experience if something should go wrong. I got to cut it short for me. I should cut it short. We're 30 minutes into the second live. We did an hour and a half. That's like a record now.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, I'll stick around for a couple more minutes.
Okay, so if anyone wants to, on my live, wants to hang out with Erin for a little while longer, make sure that you jump out of mine. I'll give you a few seconds so you can click on her logo at the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, add her, follow her, jump into her live, and I will shut it down. For those of you on Instagram, thank you for spending time with us. We'll be back on Monday. Have a fantastic weekend. If you're going to be driving, drive sober. No alcohol, no drugs. That's the message. We want to make sure you, A, are safe, B, everyone else is safe, and you don't end up in jail. It's a good thing to do. No drugs, no alcohol. Have a great weekend. Be safe. And why is my phone ringing?
Bye, TikTok.
That was Instagram. Okay, they're closing. I'm still live with you. Erin, thanks so much for spending time with us. It was a lot of fun. We'll do it again soon. All right, I'm shutting down the live, and
all right,
we'll
see you later,
soon.
Sean.
And that was it. That was a fantastic one. Sorry for the folks that didn't get their questions answered in the Q&A because we lost access. We'll be back on Monday. Bring your questions. Bring yourself. We will see you soon. Okay, we're offline there. Oh, and we are going to go offline here. Just wanted to say nobody's behavior would change if HTA offenses were only $30. Big Jeff Fresh, who is calling it like it is. Steve. HTA 30.2 says it's a $125 fine to park a non-electric vehicle in a marked EV charging station spot. No kidding. You know what, Steve? This is the first time seeing it. I'm going to go read HTA 30.2 because that's news to me. I'm going to even screen grab your comment because I honestly didn't know. I did not know. You have taught me something, Steve. Let's see here. There we go. Gonna create an email with your comment to email myself. Dotted Snow, bye. Thanks for coming out. We are going offline. See you later. Have a good weekend. Be safe, everyone.